Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to the Arena World Championship. We are on our final series of the day here on Friday of Cup 5 of the summer season here. We are 11 cups into a 12-cup year for qualification to these lands and ultimately BlizzCon. We've got our top team, Method Black, who have qualified in Europe to that BlizzCon spot. Now we're trying to determine who's going through to the summer finals, where there will be 2 more BlizzCon spots up for grabs. And these next 2 teams are 2 of the ones very much in contention for that. They're in our top 6 currently, and only 4 can qualify. So both of them need a win here in this elimination series. I'm HealingSat, I'm your host. We have Venruki, Supertees, and Zico on the desk for this one. And nLite has been a team that we've been very excited about, but Wildcard is one that we really expect consistent results from. They've let us down a little bit in summer. What do you make of this next series, Zico?
Honestly, I feel like it could go either way, but I gotta give it over to Wildcard because Wildcard, they have a mage on their roster, you know. Maro, he's really, really good on that Frost mage. And, you know, the Warrior Mage Druid, I'm not entirely sold on it, but they could bring out things like maybe Zeepai on the Ellie Shaman. They could bring out even Zeepai on that Assassination Rogue, because he's been playing it for a while. I mean, it's been his alt. I remember even in Legion running into him on that. So it's something that he's kind of had in his back pocket. Maybe not tournament ready, but maybe it is today. And Rogue Mage Druid is definitely pretty meta composition right now. If they go for the Feral Druid, I can definitely see them take down nLite. But likewise, nLite is the best jungle. So if anyone is going to be able to do it, it should be them.
Yeah, and we've been talking the entire weekend and in the open bracket as well of teams coming close to beating the Rogue Mage. The only team that has actually successfully done it in any one of these cups has been nLite. Of course, the one that Cloud9 didn't win was just won by a different Rogue Mage, M2KC. So we've had, I think, Rogue Mage win every single cup except for the one that nLite were able to pull through since patch 8.2. So nLite has been the team to do it. They're the ones that need to look to do it again if they are to qualify to the summer finals. But first, they will have to beat Wildcard Gaming. And while Wildcard Gaming haven't played the Rogue Mage yet, they have looked really good with their Mage Druid in a slightly different vein, you know, playing the Elemental Mage and that Warrior Mage, Sid.
I think that they should blind lock Ellie Mage Druid, anticipating the Ret Warrior. I think the Ellie Mage is going to do a lot better than the Ellie Warlock that we saw. Also important, I don't think Looney should play Paladin in that specific comp. Otherwise, I mean, they could also try and warm up their Rogue Mage Paladin, although that could be maybe high risk, but a Ret Paladin into Rogue Mage Paladin, it's probably not the most fun for the Ret Paladin, so they definitely have options. And I'm wondering what they're going to break out in Game 1 because they have so many options. It's difficult for me to really disseminate what they're going to do. I can think and say all I want on what I think they should do, but what they actually ultimately do is entirely in their hands. And I think what is the best odds is the Ellie Mage, though.
It's one of those odd situations. So this is a blind pick, guys. Neither of them know what the other team's running. nLite, they have 2 compositions, basically, but it's so tricky, right? Because a lot of things that the jungle wouldn't beat, the Warrior Ret can beat. So oftentimes, it does come down to that blind pick, like Elemental Mage. It probably looks great into Ret Warrior. Does it look as good into jungle is the question, you know? And I think, yeah, I agree with you, Zeke, maybe the answer is no. So this blind pick could be really important here, guys. We'll have to see what the 2 teams do lock in momentarily, because I mean, whoever wins the first game, there's a very good chance they win. For Wildcard Gaming, are there any comps, Zico, that you can see that would beat both the jungle and the Ret Warrior that they could lock in quite safely?
Maybe Windwalker DK and they just tunnel the healer. No, they are going to go for Mage, Warrior,
and it's the Ret Feral, actually. This is a really interesting blind pick.
This is the other comp that we didn't really discuss that nLite has, which is the Ret Feral Disc Fish. You basically take the 3 least represented specs in AWC, mash them together, and you have yourself a pretty decent comp, actually, because they play this in the open bracket.
Okay, yeah. I want to correct you.
Well for them.
Moonkin, Affliction, Holy Priest.
Okay, sure, Sid. But I mean, I think it's fair to say that this is 3 classes you do not expect to see on the arena field, let alone paired together on the arena field. nLite, 70-odd% of you guys think they're going to win this one. Wildcard Gaming, though, let's not forget, you know, they came second at the summer finals last year. They've been to pretty much every single LAN event in the last, how many? Like 6, 7 LAN events? These guys are absolutely crazy. If they were to not make it to summer because of nLite, that would be, I mean, astonishing.
This is a really interesting composition coming in from nLite. Of course, they don't have the Mortal Wounds, but they're playing Cyclone and Repentance. So when they get the Hammer of Justice on Looney, Cassidy can cast a Cyclone, Kara can go for a Repentance, and you can only really stop one of them as Maro. So eventually, Looney will be caught in crowd control. There's decent pressure here for Cassidy, for Kara. Both of them have been known to put out massive damage with the Retribution Paladin and the Feral Druid. Zuniaki is going to be able to help dish out the pain as well as dispel some of those really important mage abilities like the Temporal Shield, like the Frozen Orb. Maro could be in trouble, but Wildcard Gaming, they've built a really durable composition. I don't really see Blizzo going down in this match. It's going to be Maro who's likely tunneled down. I mean, maybe they go after Blizzo, but I think Looney on the Mistweaver Monk is going to have so much throughput that it's going to take a lot of dampening for Blizzo and Maro to actually fall.
You very rarely see these compositions in isolation, let alone head-to-head. It's difficult to determine who is favored. The Repentance and the Cyclone definitely threatening for a Mistweaver Monk. Crowd control going to be their natural enemy. Looney, though, rolling in, securing a double stun, while Zuniaki is actually able to premonition the Polymorph and break out. That is going to allow nLite some freedom to move. Blizzo the target for now. Looks like they're ignoring the mage altogether. The other thing is the Feral Druid Rep Paladin is decently mobile, brings in a lot of support for the Priest, and can enable the Priest to do a lot of damage. I am certainly excited to see how these compositions play out in the future.
Yeah, I mean, we'll definitely have to wait and see. Zuniaki taking quite a bit of cleave damage right now. The Ring of Peace coming in from Looney on that powered barrier. Good heads-up play by Looney to allow his team to get out some additional damage during that powered barrier. Kara, of course, going to get disarmed there. Blizzo with just so much defense on that Arms Warrior. I'll have to see what he can do. Stormbolt onto Zuniaki. That's going to be the Blessing of Sanctuary from Kara. It's one of the utility spells that the Retribution Paladin has. That Blessing of Sanctuary can remove fear effects as well as stun effects, and it's really potent and is allowing Zuniaki some freedom in this match.
Yeah, neither team really able to dent each other so far. I was expecting these comps to be a little bit more intense into each other. Finally, some damage here from nLite. Looney going to respond with the Life Cocoon, absorbing a lot of damage. Blizzo should be able to be aggressive now with that cooldown active. Who is he going to go after? Looks like Kara. Maro now getting switched to by nLite. Not really seeing any damage there either. This Retribution Paladin Feral Druid is actually what got nLite into the top 8. This could be the next best comp. Who really knows? It's definitely highly synergized. That's the one thing nLite have going for them, is even though their compositions are totally off meta, their specializations considered underdogs, when they pair them together, they create synergies that you wouldn't expect, and it's definitely brought them success, having been able to win one of the Summer Cups, potentially overcome Wildcard Gaming. I mean, Wildcard Gaming were easily #2 in Europe, the top rivals of Method Black for years, I feel, at this point. And now Wildcard Gaming in 8.2, they're falling off. They came close to having an answer to Rogue Mage Druid, but ultimately fell short. Now if they're struggling with nLite, this is not looking good for Wildcard Gaming in the summer season.
I mean, nLite's a really solid team. I feel like we don't give them enough credit. So far, there's only been one composition that hasn't really worked out too well for them so far. I mean, it's the Rogue Mage Druid that's really been giving them a difficult time. Outside of that, nLite is looking really good. They're really well-rounded. I think the compositions that they bring are super unique. Not a lot of teams are running the Retribution Paladin Warrior. Not a lot of teams are running the Feral Druid Retribution Paladin. I mean, we haven't seen it work just yet, but I'll have to see what they can do. Do you think that Wildcard Gaming is actually anticipating this comp?
Maybe. I mean, I feel like don't you think Jungle would have just smashed Mistweaver?
Yeah, it definitely would have.
So it's that or Ret Warrior. How well do you think Arms Warrior Mage would do in a Ret Warrior? Probably okay. I feel like it would
great.
Decent, but not fantastic. They definitely must have been expecting this. They know, if they've watched the open bracket, that nLite had this composition at their disposal. If you're nLite, what are you trying to counter with the Feral Ret Disc? What do you even beat that Wildcard Gaming play?
Who plays this comp? Like
why are they? The comps actually don't make sense to me, at least, based on what knowledge they have of each other's rosters.
Zuniaki plays this comp.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Who plays this comp other than nLite? I mean, we saw them play this even pre-8.2. It didn't look great then, but they did manage to stall out the game for quite some time. And, I mean, I feel like nLite, until the late game, it's going to be so difficult for them to actually go down in this matchup. They have so much self-healing with the Retribution Paladin. with the Feral Druid. There's lots of control with the Cyclone as well as that Repentance, and Zuniaki backing them up, never really being exposed. I mean, Morrow isn't even going for crowd control, so you know the strategy of Wildcard Gaming. Live as long as you can, try to win in dampening. I mean, they haven't went for one crowd control chain on Looney that I've seen, or on Zuniaki that I've really seen so far. Kara and Cassidy should be able to deny, and maybe nLite, if they can just hold on long enough, they'll be able to take down Wildcard Gaming. They'll be able to take down Morrow even through all the Mistweaver healing that is available, but I'm still not entirely sold on it. Morrow's going to have a lot of backup from Blizzo as well as Looney playing the Arms Warrior and the Mistweaver Monk. And the thing is, all 6 members in this match are just so durable. Both compositions, their offense is limited, but their durability is, they're stacking durability in this matchup.
Yeah, at this point, 10% dampening, no significant lead for either team at this point. Although in dampening, you'd say that the Warrior team is more favored. They're not bringing a lot of off-healing like the hybrids of the Retribution Paladin and the Feral Druid. So I would say that nLite are on more of a clock to close the game out, figure out what strategy they want to go for. Fortunately, they do have the tools to do it. They've got a lot of crowd control, which is great against a Mistweaver, Repentance, and Cyclone. Along with that, the Discipline Priest brings in offensive dispelling capabilities, so they can remove Enveloping Mist, they can remove Renewing Mist. So while the Mistweaver is crowd controlled, Zuniaki removes any other existing healing, and then they collide with Huge Burst on the Avenging Rats and the Berserk. And to me, that must be the strategy that nLite are going to employ. Double cross stun, both Morrow and Blizzo in trouble simultaneously. nLite, they're going for a split strategy. Morrow gets Cyclone on his Temporal Shield. Looney's got to be aware of that, try and set up to heal him, looking for some Soothing Mist, channeling in some big Vivifies, but interrupted by Cassidy. Now Cassidy's overextended, gets stunned up. Kara using his Sanctuary on Cassidy. Normally you see the Sanctuary used on the healer, but in that position, because Cassidy was so overextended, the Feral Druid can't use defensive cooldowns while stunned. It made a lot of sense for Kara to switch it, but now here comes the punish. Blizzo will activate Intimidating Shout, which Sanctuary isn't available for. Zuniaki will have to use Gladiator's Medallion instead, which is a very important cooldown as a healer. It's one of the only ways for Zuniaki to get out of crowd control aside from the Premonition. So now Zuniaki, he can't afford to make a mistake on any of Morrow's polymorphs.
Yeah, I mean, Zuniaki has to be really careful defending himself from crowd control. Morrow trying to sneak in one, unfortunately unable to find it. Morrow went for the polymorph, Premonition comes in. He tried to fake it, but Zuniaki, that bought him enough time to get out of line of sight. And Zuniaki's mana in this matchup is looking quite good right now. He's doing well. Looney also. I don't think either one of these healers has had to sort of back away and go for a drink at this point. Morrow getting bursted down. Massive damage coming in. Looney lands the Life Cocoon onto Morrow, but they're shredding through it. A lot of damage. Safeguard procs. Cassidy and Kara, they're on this Frost Mage, and this is difficult for Morrow to actually survive. Finally, some big heals come in from Looney, but Morrow's really struggling to get away from Cassidy in this match. Cassidy has to trinket out. He's going to be kiting around a little bit. Zuniaki really struggling to keep him alive also. I mean, Cassidy, he's all over the map. He's putting out good damage, but he is a vulnerable target. Morrow forced into his Ice Block. That was a massive ferocious bite coming in from Cassidy, forcing not only the Temporal Shield, but the Ice Block from Morrow. And nLite, they're looking solid.
I thought Wildcard Gaming would be favored in dampening, but nLite are doing a startling amount of damage, and if you're Wildcard Gaming, you might be second-guessing your blind lock composition. Perhaps they're going to have to craft something else. What if the Ret Feral just beats everything Wildcard Gaming have? We don't actually know, because who plays Ret Feral? There's got to be probably 0 games logged of experience and statistics for this composition in particular. Right now, mana is still even, cooldowns are solid. One Ice Block out of the way is definitely going to put on a lot more stress for Morrow. And this is a battle of that top 4. Wildcard Gaming cannot afford to fall out here. They're not even in the top 4 currently. nLite has an opportunity to pass them, to pass Zizon. This is not looking good. Repentance landed on Looney. He can't heal, but Cassidy is isolated by Blizzo, who's trying to counter-pressure him away from Morrow. Morrow blinking away, polymorphing Kara, stalling the game and holding out until a little bit deeper into dampening. But even if they do manage to hold out, it's not certain if they're actually favored.
This is amazing. I mean, nLite, just as a team, as a unit, they're able to utilize all 3 of their DPS members with unique compositions. They can run the jungle, they can run the Ret Warrior, they can run the Feral Druid Retribution Paladin. They have lots of different compositions, unique healers at their disposal. Overall, their team's looking really good. They got the first ice block from Maro. Can they get the second? He activates the Temporal Shield, trying to survive, but the damage is just so limited from Wildcard Gaming. Cassidy, he's sitting pretty, he's got his survival instincts. Kara's has all his defensive cooldowns right now. Rapture trades out from Zuniaki. The only win condition I see right now for Wildcard Gaming is a mana lead.
Yep, mana lead could be one way of finding victory here with Blizzo's consistent pressure on that warrior, but Big Bite connects on Amaro. He could be in a bit of trouble here. No life cocoon available, but now Zuniaki and a polymorph. Wildcard Gaming try to counterattack. Both healers taken out of the game. Who's going to falter first? Intimidating shout defensively, preventing Kara from supporting or counter-pressuring. Cassidy still the main focus point right now for Wildcard Gaming, but Blizzo's a bit overextended. Got swapped too and taken down to half health quite quickly. Zuniaki out in midfield. Wondering when Zuniaki's going to start getting aggressive for Psychic Screams, potentially. He's crossing the map, but he gets polymorphed. No premonition on that. Bit of a blunder. Now it's an opportunity for Wildcard Gaming, but even with the full polymorph, not denting. It's actually Blizzo that has to use Die by the Sword, and this Red Feral Priest is looking very good in game 1.
It's looking strong. It's looking solid. Blizzo now with no Die by the Sword. He's going to be in a little bit of trouble. 42% dampening and rising quickly. Zuniaki still doing well on mana, but he's evened out with Looney. Cassidy could easily fall. Zuniaki has to be very careful. He's actually playing in Gnome. He's playing in Gnome Discipline Priest. I'm kind of curious as to why he's playing Gnome in this matchup, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Zuniaki now in full polymorph manages to find the premonition. Maro's been trying to find the crowd control. Finally, diminishing return polymorph comes in onto Zuniaki, but there's not too much damage. Cassidy, with the freedom of Kara, he's been able to kite around in this matchup quite well, and that's one great thing. I mean, the Feral Druid is really hard to catch, but when you add an additional freedom coming in from Kara, it's really difficult for that Feral Druid to actually get caught and Blizzo to have uptime. Now Blizzo's in a main stun. Looney's trying his best to keep him alive, but he's struggling to keep Blizzo afloat.
All right, how much longer can Wildcard Gaming keep this going? Polymorph on Zuni, but he pre-paint suppressions. Blessing Protection also protecting Cassidy. Maybe not necessary from Kara. Perhaps he should have held on to that to break Intimidating Shout or a stun in the future. That Blessing Protection got no value. I definitely could see that costing nLite the game. They're still trying to push forward, potentially going after Maro, but Maro is able to avoid the fight. Kara looking for Repentance. The other nice part about running Repentance in Cyclone is that you just take interrupts for your healer, and as a Discipline Priest, that means you can do a lot of damage. Although Cassidy is isolated, we see the knockback from Zuniaki. Not getting too much value there, unfortunately. Cassidy needs to start retreating, likely. Blizzo is chopping him up. He's very close to execute range. Looney trying to make sure he adds in that extra 5% physical damage with the Crackling Jade Lightning on Cassidy. Blizzo not going to be overextending. Zuniaki stabilizing, dampening quite high at this point. It is going to become insanely difficult for either team to recover from a huge burst of damage. It's all about anticipating it, making an aggressive trade, and then swinging off of that momentum. Blizzo's trying to build that momentum now, but he's overextended. Trying to punish. Cassidy landing a stun. He's going to use Survival Instincts on the Blade Storm. Line of sight. Zuniaki breaks out of the poly, but now into that Intimidating Shout. And because it landed onto 2 players, Kara can't support. Beautifully done by Blizzo.
Cassidy's running behind the pillar. He gets interrupted. Now Zuniaki can free cast. Nice interrupt coming in from Blizzo. Cassidy line of sights the Shadow Man. That's a bit scary for Cassidy. It's going to be really difficult for Zuniaki to actually recover in this situation. They have to go on Blizzo. Kara with his Avenging Wrath looking to get really aggressive, but can they actually take him down? This composition from Wildcard Gaming is looking sturdy. It's looking durable. Looney's been able to just sit back and channel out heals, and Mistweaver Monks have quite a bit of throughput. Even at 58% dampening, they can heal through this damage. Blizzo's going to be okay. It's a lot of healing reduction for both teams. I don't know how nLite has managed to hold on for so long, but Kara, Cassidy, Zuniaki, the amount of healing they bring in. The thing is, they need to actually find a kill in this matchup. Who do they go after? I mean, Maro, he's got both of his ice blocks. Blizzo has to die by the sword. Now Kara getting swapped to. He's forced to run away. And at this point, Kara and Cassidy, they're forced so defensive. I don't know if they're going to be actually able to land a kill, but they might just take down Blizzo. Die by the sword trades out. This is so scary for both teams. Cassidy's out of mana. Zuniaki's almost completely tapped. Full Hammer of Justice over onto Looney. Blitzo trying to deny the repentance of Kara. As Looney, he does have his trinket available, but you can't afford to fall behind at this point in the game. This is the highest dampening we've seen in quite some time.
All right, the healers are finally almost out of mana here, 15.5 minutes into the match. It's surprising that they're able to maintain so long such high caliber teams. Cassidy jumping in, securing an interrupt on Looney, likely game winning, bashing Looney out of the interrupt. Perfect follow-up. Looney trinket Cyclone, life cocoon.
It's looking like a powered shield at that point.
It's not looking like too much. Blizzo cycloned on it even. Cassidy getting reversed on. Pain suppression and barrier are available. Very surprising to not see cooldowns traded here with dampening at 67%. Certainly the healers can't get away with the exchanges they were making earlier on in the match. Cassidy on the run, ducking for cover, but Morrow is sniping him out, and I don't think it's going to be enough. Lights out. Wildcard Gaming, game 1.
Wow, that was quite the game. 69% dampening at the end of that one. No druids on the map, so clearly these Discipline Priests and the Mistweavers can take us the distance. A very interesting composition coming in from nLite. The Retribution Paladin Feral, we saw it a little bit midweek as well, though nothing quite like that. Ultimately, Cassidy is the one that falls, and Wildcard Gaming, you know, as you said at the very start of the game, I think it was Sid who said it, they drafted a very, very resound composition. There was no weaknesses, and nLite, even with all of these self-healing and sustain, they couldn't find the opening, and they do lose for game 1.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They had a really tanky composition on the side of Wildcard Gaming, and Mistweaver in this matchup is able to drink surprisingly much because Zuniaki has to keep himself on one side, and if Kara and Cassidy overextend, they can't really shut down a lot of those drinks. So that combined with the fact that the Mistweaver just has so much throughput, so much burst healing, if he actually gets to cast with, you know, a lot of plus healing modifiers like the Enveloping Mist, it just allows Looney to keep Blizzo going for long periods of time. And likewise, I mean, when you have some of the best healers really going at it like this, that's the this is the result. And here Cassidy got stunned up by that leg sweep, and Cassidy had like 5 seconds left on his trinket when he came out of that one. So if he would have had a trinket for that, I could have easily seen Blizzo being the one who went down. But the pressure from that, with dampening being so high, just made it so Mario can easily chase down that kill there.
Yeah, and I mean, since we've been in a druid meta for such a long time, we're constantly having this conversation about who's the best druid. And we don't really need to talk about who the best Discipline Priest is, for example, because Zuniaki is the only one really seeing success of it in these tournaments. Same with Looney on the Mistweaver. There's very few for him to compete with. These guys really are at the very forefront of the classes that they're playing. That's why they're able to keep these teams alive for so long. But ultimately, Wildcard Gaming, we asked the question just before the game started, what was the composition that would be everything for nLite? And we did think that something tanky, maybe the Mage Warrior Mistweaver. Do you think that would beat the Jungle Cleave from nLite, for example?
No, I don't see it beating the jungle, to be honest with you. They have a lot of offensive dispels for the Mage, get CC on the Mistweaver, and they can easily chase down the Mage. And we also know nLite, they like to play very aggressive. They will be going for, you know, a lot of bleeds on the Warrior as well. So if the Mage is playing too defensive, they're just going to do one setup on the Warrior and force out everything. That's just how they like to play the game. So I don't see that composition winning against jungle, but I think Wildcard did a good guess here where they kind of knew that nLite probably won't be leading with their jungle.
Okay, well, we'll have to see what does end up coming out here. Ruins of Lordaeron is the map choice from nLite. Of course, these guys are currently behind on the points. They have 192, and the benchmark is 240. So they're just shy of 50 points behind, meaning that I think they basically need top 3. If they get top 3 both cups, then they'll probably qualify. Maybe they need a top 2, but it's certainly a tall order for Zuniaki and his team to do it. Meanwhile, Wildcard Gaming, they are very close. So even by winning here, they'll start to overtake Zyzon, and they will be in pole position, guaranteed top 4 at the end of the weekend. Wildcard are taking a little bit of time to look in their comp here, Sid. Maybe because, as Zico said, there's nothing that beats both the Ret Warrior and the Jungle Cleave that they could lock in.
Yeah, I mean, okay.
Very interesting.
There you go, Sid. There's your Moonkin.
There's the Moonkin.
This is actually true.
Now,
we haven't seen many Moonkins since Wildcard have been dropping down a little bit.
I actually wonder if you still just play jungle.
I think you 100% play jungle
still,
and just run at
just
Morrow
kill the
until he's
Moonkin.
dead. Yeah, I think that's exactly what's going to happen.
I don't know if... I feel like Thunder might have been better overall. Mistweaver, Arms Warrior, Ellie is like their blind lock comp, and then try and go for a counter pick. If they lock in the mage, they're going to get owned by jungle likely. If they lock in the balanced druid, I think they're still in the same boat as getting owned by the jungle. But of course, nLite, if they don't lock in jungle, maybe there's still an opportunity. I feel like
I want to see Zeepai Rogue.
You want to see Aram Pala here?
Yeah, blind lock Aram Pala.
Maybe as the blind lock, right?
Yeah.
Aram Pala or RMD. I mean, it's been working for everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, it's true.
That's true.
I mean, RMD probably is the comp that beats all of the comps that nLite have
There you
available,
go.
to be honest.
Solved.
Yeah, I mean, it's very curious. Like, this is one of we've had 4 series out of 5 today go to Game 5. Like, the teams really have stepped it up. And this series is one you would also expect to have a very good chance of going to Game 5. nLite, I mean, presumably they lock in the jungle cleave. That's what we're expecting. But if they do win this game, let's say, what do you think would be their blind pick into Wildcard Gaming? Because if they lock in jungle, what would Wildcard even count with? They're actually going for the red wall. I think this is fair enough here, right? They're going to easily kill Mara with red wall.
Yeah, they're going to do the Warlock treatment.
Yeah, I think so too.
They're going to give him the Warlock treatment that we saw a little bit earlier in their series, where he's going to be sitting on Morrow, trying to disrupt him, trying to keep Tana high on mana, and then, you know, at a certain point in the game, they're going to just be able to overwhelm him, I think.
Oh, I think they want to run the cleansing waters. With balanced druid dots and elemental dots, one chain heal just cleans the whole team of all of the dots. I mean, that's a lot of global cooldowns taken away for one chain heal. It makes sense. I almost wonder if Shaman jungle then, if that's something they wanted to do, would have been better for offense. Obviously, the Ret and Warrior are still going to do a lot of damage even to a high armor target like the balanced druid. They might have difficulty chasing the elemental though, so I do expect Maro as the main target. This isn't, I don't think it's a terrible decision to not run the jungle, but
you know why I don't like the Shaman jungle?
Why?
It doesn't have the Zinniaki factor. I feel like nLite always need the Zinniaki factor.
In every game, he has to.
He has to be there somewhere. Warrior, Death Knight, Affliction, Warlock, just anything. As long as Zinniaki's in the game, I've got a feeling they've got a better chance of winning.
I don't want to see that Affliction Warlock, but I agree with the Zuniaki factor definitely being a thing. And, you know, here in Ohio, it's been very sunny, so definitely want to have that on your team.
Yeah.
If nLite will ever bust out like Shadow Priest, Zuniaki, Kara, Ret Paladin, like Shadow Priest, Retribution Paladin, and then Tana on the Restoration Shaman. I bet that's another composition they could run against some stuff.
It would probably go to 60-70% dampening as well.
You think
Shadow
so?
and Ret Paladin.
They have such long crowd control chains. That was a composition that was popular for a while.
Actually, with the Unbound Freedom, maybe it could be, because the Shadow Priest could get Fears, you know, a little bit easier. I would be down to see it. I just feel like there's no Mortal Strike effect, and all the SP comps that work well are like attrition and deep damp, and 25% healing reduction means you need to go another 25% damp to actually kill people. I don't know. It's interesting to see. We always talked about it, right? Zinniaki's been to BlizzCon finals multiple times as SP, so no reason why he wouldn't bring it out, but maybe they just don't have the melees to back him up in this one.
Might not be the best option for them. It seems like so far, all these team members kind of work together quite well for nLite. We weren't really expecting the Ret Warrior, but
yeah,
I think it's good.
I think it's fine.
I think it's really good. I mean, as long as they keep Maro in bear form, you can't even Moonfire in bear form anymore. And I think that's a big deal. I mean, that so really limits Maro's damage. If he's forced to sit in bear form, his damage output is going to be nothing.
Yeah, there's barely anything.
Yeah, there'll be barely anything at all. But
okay, we get it. He's a bear.
Wait, what? I didn't get. Wait. Oh, because he's a bear.
Barely.
Okay. Oh. I'm just joking. I got it.
I know you got it.
it's been a long day. We've had some Slay Slurk games today, so the humor has taken a turn for the worse. But I mean, at the same time, we're on Ruins of Lordaeron. It's a small map. It's the all-in Ret Warrior coming out from nLite in this situation. We'll have to see how this does play out, because Maro locks in the Moonkin. Super Tease was very happy to see that, because we haven't seen many Moonkins.
Yeah, I'm going to be very sad, though.
Couple of things. But I mean, we'll have to see if Wildcard Gaming can win this one. Of course, the run of play would suggest that nLite should win, and then it'll be really interesting to see what nLite lock in blind. This series really could go the full distance, guys. It's the final series of the day. Winner of this one goes through the championship Sunday, and the loser is going to have such a tough time to qualify to summer.
Zeepai is actually the target. No way. Please don't go. Why would you go on the Elemental Shaman?
I mean, I feel like both of them could die very easily. Don't you think?
Yeah, but now you have to deal with Cyclone. There's so much more disruption. The Balance Druid can just freely rain out damage. I don't like the Elemental Shaman as the target.
I mean, he's dead. What do you mean you don't like it?
I still don't like it. Even if he dies, I don't like it.
Well, let's see how the game goes, because I feel like nLite probably have a better idea of how this composition works. Let's at least let them try their strategy. Now they're going to be going after Morrow, and I think bouncing between the two targets isn't bad. Zuniaki taking a huge hit. This is the Astral Shift from Morrow, putting out big damage at this time, but unfortunately, not the Astrals, at the Incarnation. And Morrow's able to get out a huge hit, but luckily Tana can easily heal through it with that Ascendance, keeps Zuniaki and Kara alive in that situation, and now the Retribution Paladin and the Warrior can continue to get aggressive onto Morrow.
Yeah, Morrow now actually switching back to Z-Pi. Looney, mana not looking, well, too bad. Honestly, I was expecting his mana to be a bit lower based off the initial exchange of damage from nLite. Avenging Wrath active, Kara's damage going to be enhanced there for a moment, but now Cycloned. And this is the danger of leaving the Balance Druid open. Obviously, like, Tana can use Grounding Totem and Wind Shear, which he should be, I think, on Cyclone, and just making it difficult for Morrow to support Z-Pi if he is going to be the target. But ultimately, I think maybe switching off Thorns might be the only reason why you wouldn't want to attack the Balance Druid. Morrow going to be jumping into Incarnation for a moment, lobbing out some pretty big Star Surges. Repentance, though, secured on Looney. Still an effective crowd control metric for nLite to counteract that Mistweaver healing. They also bring in the Purges to remove the Enveloping Mist as well. I'm wondering if Tana is running the Chain Heal build, though. I thought for sure he'd be running the Cleansing Waters to counteract the damage over time effects from Morrow and Z-Pi, but I haven't really seen it. Kara in a Lightning Lasso, going to activate the Shield of Vengeance, absorb a big amount of damage, and allow himself to be aggressive.
Yeah, Kara does manage to completely stabilize. There's an intimidating shout by Zuniaki onto Morrow. And unfortunately, it's not going to be able to land onto Looney, and they lose out on that crowd control. Z-Pi now getting a little bit low, but it's Zuniaki once again on the back foot, and maybe this pick backfires from nLite. We felt like the jungle cleave would have been good. I mean, they do have a lot of damage rolling onto Morrow, and anything can happen. Tana's mana still doing well. Looney has a little bit of a lead, but they still have a lot of defensive cooldowns. There's been a little bit scary moments where Zuniaki does get low, but still, Tana has so much that he can work with and rotate through in this matchup, especially with Kara backing him up. And Morrow's just falling further and further behind, forced to trade out his Bark Skin. Looney does manage to connect some heals, get in a prime position once again. Now we're about 2 minutes away from dampening. The question is, who does this actually favor? In that exchange, Kara had to use his Divine Shield. The damage output from Z-Pi and Morrow is really surprising in this match.
Yeah, pretty surprising indeed. Hex on Tana, no way to get out. Pressure onto two targets. Stormkeeper available for Z-Pi. Looking to line that up with some big lightning bolts. Zuni going to be leaping to the pillar, then charging back out. Curious as to why he didn't go for crowd control there, but not too sure why Zuniaki ended up using the heroic leap like that. Now trying to make his way back to Z-Pi. Bladestorm in battle stance. Z-Pi on the run in Ghost Wolf. Kara gets cycloned away by Morrow. Morrow stalling the fight. Now switching the Cyclone to Tana. This is the disadvantage of not attacking the Balanced Druid, is your entire team is going to get controlled. And while they're controlled, they can isolate a target and burst it down, which is exactly what they need to do to find a kill. Zuniaki barely holding on. Trinket from Tana, but not lined up with any other cooldowns, so it's definitely an opening moving forward. Usually want to be lining up the Trinket with the Spirit Link Totem or a Trinket with a cooldown, because you can't access your cooldowns in crowd control otherwise. Zuniaki still running that Relentless as well, although running with the Human Racial can escape some Lightning Lassos. I would like to see a setup here from Wildcard Gaming. It seems to me that they have good cross crowd control. You can Paralysis the Shaman, clone the Ret, Lightning Lasso the Warrior, switch the clone from the Ret to the Shaman and finish off the Warrior, or even land Hex. I mean, there's a lot of crowd control potential for Wildcard Gaming that they're not even really utilizing.
Morrow has to trade out the Bark Skin, but Kara, he just gets deleted. That damage was insane from Wildcard Gaming. They're going to go up 2-0 in the series. Massive damage from Morrow, from Z-Pi. There was no crowd control. He just took so much burst.
Yeah, the burst from Elemental Shamans this patch is actually pretty incredible. The Blood of the Enemy, the Sky Fury. That was even the Lightning Lasso coming in from Z-Pi there. Just incredible damage. And Wildcard Gaming, you know, we've been talking about nLite. We've been hyping them up, having a lot of fun watching them too. But Wildcard Gaming are the real deal. They're a consistent team, and there's no way they'd accept not qualifying to Summer.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Wildcard Gaming was that team that we were hyping into the spring finals as one of the potential winners of that tournament. And Why did just Jamie do that? Why is he playing Mage in Zizon? That's what he should have been doing right there. Zeepai and Maro just able to completely delete. I just can't really believe what. This damage, blood of the enemy.
Was that it? Was it blood of the enemy that made them do so much damage?
Yeah.
I think
He's
so.
definitely running it.
And Sky Fury obviously as well.
Yeah, the Sky Fury I think is what's really important. I mean, look at this, just a wind shear on Tana. Look at Kara's health. Just watch it carefully.
Yeah, we're gonna need to see exactly how much damage that was because that was crazy.
I mean, that's one of the things about the Elemental Shaman and the Moonkin as well, is you just have so much burst potential. Here it is.
Sky Fury is down. Stormkeeper.
Oh, wow.
What?
Yeah.
This is crazy.
It literally went from 100% health, 80% health, 40% health, gonzo.
Yeah. I mean, it's the combo, right? Like, it's the fact that Sky Fury increases all your crit damage by 30%, I believe it is, and then Blood of the Enemy makes you crit by 25% when you use it. So the combo is just incredibly powerful for the Elemental Shaman. That's why they do this kind of one-shot damage.
Moonkin Aura give you crit too?
Yeah. Moonkin Aura also gives you crit, yeah.
That's a lot of crit.
So it's a lot of crit chance. It was a crit.
Yeah.
It was a crit for Kara, definitely. And it's a 2-minute cooldown, Blood of the Enemy, right, I think? So
yes.
It's pretty unsurprising then that Kara bubbled and then 2 minutes later he died, I suppose. There's a bit of a coincidence there. But either way, 158,000 Earthshock I'm hearing is the number. People have about 300,000 health.
That's the biggest Earthshock I've ever...
50% of his health in one ability.
158,000? That's the highest I've ever seen.
We haven't seen Zeepai in weeks, it feels like. And Zeepai's just been sitting there like the mad scientist, just like,
There's a shaman.
What essences can I go with here?
There's a shaman on live who does this to me all the time. I forget his name.
I remember. He did to
clips.
me too.
He just posts clips of him one-shotting everybody with this build, and it's so annoying to play against because it's just unexpected instant cast damage. And
yeah,
I mean, if you don't kill off the Sky Fury totem, you're dead.
Yeah, you have to kill Sky Fury totems against Elemental Shamans this patch. It is literally not acceptable to not kill them. 158,000 with just one button. I mean, crazy stuff coming in from Zeepai there, but it is enough. Wildcard Gaming 2-0 up in the series, looking for top 4. Wildcard Gaming with incredible damage in Game 2 was enough to see them through. 2-0 up now in the series. nLite will not go down without playing their main composition. It's Zuniaki on the Discipline Priest, Kara on the Survival Hunter, and Cassidy coming in on that Feral Druid, looking to put 3 in a row on the board, or they will be eliminated from the tournament.
This is the composition we wanted to see from nLite, the Jungle Cleave. I think it's going to fare a lot better for them. They can get the pressure rolling on tomorrow. It's going to be about denying crowd control on Looney. But Karas, he's going to be moving forward. Zeepai denying. Nicely done by the Lightning Lasso. Unfortunately, Looney's still caught into a trap, and Maro's going to be in a little bit of trouble.
It's all just about keeping Maro pinned in bear farm and securing crowd control on Looney, and then trading cooldowns for when Zeepai sets up his burst. I think if they can effectively utilize that strategy, they're going to be able to find victory. I don't mind switching off of the Thorns to try and minimize the counter pressure that Wildcard Gaming are going to dish out, but if they leave Maro open too long, the Cyclones are going to become a bit overwhelming. It just sets up Zeepai so effectively. Zeepai running that grounding totem for freezing traps. Definitely going to have to keep their eyes on that as well when they move forward in this fight. Zuniaki looking like he wants to cross midfield and look for crowd control. Bit peculiar as to why he's pushed so far forward and not towards Looney. They're actually just going to punish him for wandering into the middle of the map and switch. Big hit on Zuni. Desperate Prayer needs to be enough. He's going to use Rapture as well and then get back to the pillar. That was very odd by Zuniaki.
Yeah, that was strange. I guess he wanted to land a fear onto Zeepai when they got the full trap over on the Looney. That's the only explanation I can come up with, and that way they get cross crowd control and get CC on the Looney, CC on the Zeepai, and it forces Maro into this 1v3 situation where he's really vulnerable. About a minute and a half into the game. Right now, Looney's got no life cocoon. There's an opportunity here. Zuniaki, of course, uses the Dark Archangel. They're looking to get aggressive. This is the full trap. This is when Maro's in trouble. Zeepai's in a fear. Maro's all alone. Looney does have the cooldowns to trade out. Can they force it? Maro forced to trinket out. He's got the renewal if he needs it, but he's holding on, and the pressure from nLite's a lot lower than I really expected.
That pressure is subsiding initially here for nLite. Zuniaki and a Cyclone. Stormkeeper available. Zeepai channels it. Potentially big damage here. Cassidy gets gripped back to the pillar. Big connect from that Lightning Lasso as well as the Star Surges. Comboing and getting the Gladiator Safeguard. Unfortunately, nothing else. nLite then securing a freezing trap and look to get aggressive. Maro retreats away. nLite switch targets. They get the Astral Shift from Zeepai, then can switch back to Maro likely and get pressure onto 2 targets if they can pull Life Cocoon as well. It would certainly be great for them. They do. They get Life Cocoon as well as Astral Shift. Big opening for nLite.
Yeah, and there's a lot of damage rolling onto Maro as well. I mean, he uses his Bark Skin. There's no Life Cocoon as a safety net. Tara, Cassidy, they're going to be able to get out massive damage with the Dark Archangel of Zuniaki. nLite has a huge hit available. Stun onto Zeepai. Looney, what are you going to do? He's not in crowd control just yet. He has to play catch-up. There's the full trap. Zuniaki pulls the trigger on the Dark Archangel. They're actually just going after Zeepai. There's no Astral Shift. He gets interrupted. Big damage. Looney trinkets out into a full fear. There's no Tremor Totem. But they're still lacking the damage. They might just be able to take Zeepai down. He's barely holding on. He's trying to kite away. Going after Maro, apparently it was the wrong target. It seems like nLite going after Zeepai just have so much more pressure.
Oh, Car getting bursted down. Certainly at any moment, if you're below 50% health, there could be a 150k Earthshock looming in the murky waters. So Zuni needs to make sure that his team is almost always above 50% health. Otherwise, Zeepai might just zap them out of the competition. Wildcard Gaming are looking solid here. This composition is certainly doing them favors against nLite, but their mana is starting to lag behind. If nLite keep up these swaps and pressure on 2 targets, I'm not sure how much longer Looney can keep this up.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Zeepai, there's the Life Cocoon coming in from Looney. Lots of damage. Kara down. 30% health and a Lightning Lasso. Pain Suppression trades out by Zuniaki, but Kara, he's still in trouble. He's got no exhilaration. He does have the aspect of the turtle, but they hold on. Maro with the Cyclone freezes his health. Zuniaki not really struggling too much to top him off. If we look at mana, it's even for both healers. Pressure's been relatively even in this matchup as well, but Looney's been falling further and further behind.
Freezing trap secured. 2 members of Wildcard Gaming low on health. nLite finally have pressure. Dark Archangel enhancing their damage. Maro on the run, but no Life Cocoon. Not trading Barkskin here. Maybe like to save it for when he's stunned, but now he trinkets out of the stun, combos it with Renewal, boosting his health back into the fight. Mana slightly in favor of Wildcard Gaming. Innervate for Maro, active on Looney. He's getting a lot of free heals. Paralysis on Zuni, perfect crowd control. Cassidy in trouble, nLite on match point, and could be out of the competition and could lose opportunities to qualify to the summer finals if they can't pull off the comeback. Cyclone at low health now. Panic for Zuniaki. Car is low as well. 2 members. How is Zuni going to recover? Rapture activated. Big power word shields in from Zuniaki. Zeepai can remove those with Purge, but now he's stunned up. He's trying to ground the freezing trap. Not able to find it. Also not tremoring Maro out of the Psychic Scream, instead saving it for Looney later on, but I think Zuni's almost always going to allocate that to a DPS member. Cassidy, no! Cassidy might be having a technical difficulty, and obviously if you're Wildcard Gaming, you're playing to win. Summer Finals potentially on the line for them, so I don't imagine that they're going to be waiting. They are going to be zapping Cassidy out of the competition. Wildcard Gaming advanced 3-0.
Yeah, that's a tragic ending there for nLite. You got to feel a little bit bad for Cassidy. Of course, if you disconnect during the game, you're responsible for your own internet, so that is going to stand. Wildcard Gaming will take the victory 3-0. The series was definitely looking in their favor either way, but it is a shame because that game really was pretty back and forth. It felt like it could have gone either way, but Wildcard Gaming still would have had 2 more counter picks. And I mean, the series was theirs, and we've honestly been pretty impressed by them winning even with a Moonkin. I'm sure Super Teams will be happy to see that. A big damage from Zeepai on the Elemental as well is something that we were really happy to see him back in form.
I can't wait to see, are the other Elemental Shamans going to be picking up that build as well? Like, I'm not sure, because I think a lot of the enemy builds looked really good. And yeah, of course, this is a very unfortunate ending for Cassidy. To get disconnected like that towards the end is... it's not really a situation that you want to be in, of course, but this game in particular was very back and forth, you know. They forced out a lot of cooldowns from Maro, and this is kind of how nLite likes to play their jungle, where they go after multiple targets. Zeepai as well was in big trouble. He didn't have his Astral Shift. They forced out the Life Cocoon. They were going for a trap there. They definitely still had, you know, a fighting chance in this game, but unfortunately for them, Cassidy... he's going to be a kitty kind of running in place there, and eventually he's going to go down. And you can't really fault Wildcard for doing this either. I mean, it's mid-game.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
it's summer finals on the
sure.
line.
Yeah, I don't
If
think
it's
anyone
on the
can.
line, I mean,
I'm pretty sure it's in the rules to play to win.
Yeah, no, you should.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're meant to in the rules. It's honestly like a surprise when someone doesn't. I would definitely play to win. So
Yeah,
nothing against
of course.
Wildcard Gaming for that one. 3-0 on the day. Cassidy, obviously, unfortunate for him, unfortunate for nLite. If they can come through with a big performance next week, they could theoretically make it through to the summer finals, but ultimately it's more of a 5-horse race now, I suppose. We've got Wildcard Gaming, Zyzon, Change My Mind, and Diabolos. Those 4 teams are contesting, or those 4 teams are contesting for 3 spots, with Method Black almost certainly through themselves. As you can see, Zyzon were knocked out earlier today by nLite, so nLite doing a big favor to those other teams. Now Wildcard Gaming has an opportunity to overtake. In fact, I believe with the performance that they've got today, with the top 4 finish, they do actually overtake Zyzon by 20 points already. So they're in a situation now where Zyzon is guaranteed to be the 5th place team at the end of the weekend. It's more about how much of an advantage can Diabolos, Change My Mind, and Wildcard make, and we will find that out on Sunday.